What's up, guys? Azim Rakes here, bringing you today's Wager Rakes show. Today I have Dot Bet and the second part of Source Podcast. This is Sam. So, as you've seen the show before, Source Podcast, you've seen the guy. That's the second part, Job. So we have the second one today, and this is going to be a really exciting episode. We all have been. Yesterday was not the best day for us. We went 1-3 as a group. It was kind of given that we went 11-3 before that. We expected some regression, but at the end of the day, we of course want to be profiting for y'all. So we went 1-3 and immediately started working. So this should be an exciting episode in the sense that we've put in the time and the effort since yesterday. Once we realized we were not going to have a profitable day yesterday, we started putting in the hours to break down the games. So let's see where that gets us. So I only have one play today, so I'm actually going to go all the way at the end. So I'm going to start off with Dot. Dot, what's your free play today? And what's your game? What's your free play? And a little bit of insight.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the wall. I know we gave out Yankees money line yesterday. Right. Action Jackson did that, I believe. And unfortunately didn't come to fruition. Got swept by the Red Sox. But this is a more favorable matchup for him today against Dylan Bundy of the Angels. They've had 143 plate appearances, the current roster has, against Bundy, and they've had a 343 xWOBA on them. So they have great numbers against Bundy, 276 team average against him. I really, really think this is a good get-right spot for the Yankees offense and just obliterate this Orioles team. Angels team. Bundy being on the Orioles.
Yeah, they crushed Bundy when he was an Oriole. I definitely remember back in those days where I don't think he's switched up his pitch mix much either. He's just kind of gone to a different location, and every time they've seen him, they've still hit him well.
Yeah, 13 outings this year with a 6.68 ERA, below average K rate, and above average ISO. So I think it's a great matchup for the Yankees to get right and obliterate them today.
The line movement agrees with you on that one. I just checked it while you were talking. It agrees with you. They're taking the Yankees as well, it seems like. But the Angels are still getting a little bit of love. But that's probably just recency bias in the sense that the Yankees just got swept by the Red Sox. Fun fact, I think it's been 218 days since the Yankees last beat the Red Sox.
Right.
I did not want to hear that. Oh, my God. That hurts.
Yeah, they just need to not pitch to Ohtani, and they'll be okay.
Easier said than done, my friend.
Yeah.
Especially with the way that for me, the Yankees, if they can get into the Angels bullpen, it's game over. I mean, the Angels have one of the worst bullpens in the league, and it does not fail to disappoint almost every time.
Right.
Definitely with you on that one.
Yep.
All right, Sam, you got your first play.
All right. I'm going to move into a little tougher area. I'm looking at Philly today. We have a really big edge on Philly at plus 130. I think they've moved up to plus 135 now. But what I've seen from this matchup, first of all, the Phillies have Spencer Howard on the mound. He's been like one of their highly touted prospects, and he hasn't really come out too strong, as that happens with a lot of prospects. But the key for me to look at is how much he's really affected by walks. Because, I mean, first of all, he's a guy in the minors who did not have a problem with walks, and I'm sure he's going to balance that out when he gets a little further into his experience here in the majors. And he's facing the Reds, who are 3-7 in their last 10. They're really not in a good spot, their pitching isn't either. Their bullpen's been absolutely horrific. And I don't believe that Wade Miley, despite his decent ERA, his WRC plus and FIP minus are just a little closer to average than his numbers say they should be, which for me seems due to regression. And I also just think that Spencer Howard's going to put a better outing out there today. I mean, you take away the walks from the last start, and obviously walks are, you can't just take them away, but that's something that a prospect is going to work on to make sure he doesn't do throughout the year. And the pitching coaches are going to help him with that. So I expect him to improve, and I definitely see regression coming from Wade Miley. So I think with that, combined with the Reds' poor bullpen and their poor showing in the last 10 games, it gives me a big edge on Philly.
I kind of like that, yeah. Yep. And it is at plus 135 now, but yeah.
Beautiful.
I agree with that.
I got Wade Miley on my fantasy team, and I don't know how he's pitched so well. So
yeah.
I'm expecting
steal of a draft pick from you. Gotta say there.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna fill in the middle gap. I am taking the Dodgers minus 1.5. Now, in certain circumstances, I also like the money line here. But the fact is, given the circumstances for this game, I'm only going to take the minus 1.5. It's on plus odds. Plus 120 right now is the best I'm seeing, but plus 115 consensus. So it's a dog play to a degree, but I don't think. I mean, the Dodgers haven't played necessarily or not to the level that we expected them to play recently, but nevertheless, this is still a Dodgers team that can hit. Not to take away from the Giants whatsoever, but I think this will more or less be a little bit of a home field, a little bit more of a home field to it, a little bit more of a chance that the Dodgers just come out and ball out, especially because they themselves, I believe, should want to turn it around. And like I said, they've won, 3 of their last 5, basically beating the Cubs, but they also lost to the Cubs. And in those games, they put up 7, 3, and 6, but it was the Cubs. Again, at the end of the day, I do like the value on the minus 1.5, especially because if you're really considering this matchup, I would have automatically expected to be a negative value. But if that's not even enough, I just like that the money line sitting at 180, and like I said, the money line could also be played here. But I like that the money line sitting at 180, and it's expected to climb up. And if that's not enough, then I just like the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think something really interesting to note about that game is the last time the Giants played the Dodgers in LA, the Dodgers would have won that game had Mike Tauchman not robbed Albert Pujols' walk-off home run in the 9th inning. Like
Right.
it was definitely the Giants were winning the game 4-2 the entire time, but they blew that game unless Mike Tauchman doesn't climb a 12-foot fence and reach over and grab that ball. So, I mean, yes, the Giants have played them decently this year, but I mean, you're talking about a fluke moment that switches the entire momentum of the season series. And the Dodgers were in a much worse spot then. Now you have them coming off of 3 straight wins against the Cubs, who were a hot team before that, before they got limited to 0, 1, and 2 runs in 3 straight games. So I really like the way the Dodgers are looking right now. And I think this could definitely be a good buy low spot for them, even though they're not necessarily at a low spot. You got to remember, this is the Dodgers. They're usually at 200, 210.
Yeah, this is actually the lowest I think I've ever played them. Usually I'm playing them around 200 or like 270.
And when they were a dog the other day against the Padres, that was the first time they had been a dog in over 300 days.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a team you get at value much often.
No.
I
mean, you always got to go on the regression train of the Giants. I mean, they played a spectacular first half.
Exactly.
And you got to think it's going to have to come back to earth, right?
Especially with their pitching. I mean, you got Anthony DeSclafani on the mound today with a 2.7 ERA. I went to the Nationals-Giants game when I was back in D.C. a couple weeks ago. DeSclafani threw like a 2-hit shutout.
Right, exactly.
I mean, at a certain point, and by the way, Tauchman robbed a homer in that game too. I'm just saying, at a certain point, the regression's got to cut in.
Got it.
Right.
I agree.
So that is my play. Dodgers
Beautiful.
minus 1.5. Like I said, it's plus 120 at the best book, which I can give you that right now. I don't know if I actually can give that out. And plus 115 consensus. I don't think I could give out book names on YouTube. So we're not even going to try to do that. Let's go back to Dot Bets for his second play.
Yeah, so second play, we're going to go to the early game at Coors Field. I think it's set at over 11 is what I got. Pirates, Rockies. We got Anderson versus Freeland. Anderson's pitched pretty well this year, but the Rockies love hitting it home. They can't hit worth a shit or worth a damn on the road, but they are lethal at home, I believe, against left-handed pitchers. And this Pirates lineup is sneaky good, in my opinion. They put up a pretty good fight this past weekend against the Cardinals. They hit. They got Reynolds, Hayes. I think Polanco's coming around. They got some good bats in that lineup. I think we can see some runs this afternoon.
And I think in the last 30 days, the Pirates have actually been like a mid-level hitting team. Like they have not been subpar. They've been up there. And I think what's more is that Kyle Freeland is just god awful. I have no other way to say it. I don't know why he's still in the major leagues.
No, he had. What did he have? That one good year, 2 years
once.
ago?
He had like 5 or 6 good starts at the end of a season, and they were like, "Oh, this is the next guy for us."
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You said you got at over 11.
I think it's 11. Yeah.
Okay. It's moved up, so it agrees with you, but the
11
consensus is pretty much everybody has 11 and a half except for, I still can't say names. I don't think. So yeah. Well, what would you do at 11 and a half? You staying away? You taking the over still? What are you doing?
I'd take it still. I just put it probably down to a half a unit play.
Okay. All right.
For me, what is very interesting about this is that averages per game wise, the Pirates average about 4.8 runs a game. Rockies average about 5.2. So that average out to about 10 runs, and that's not even necessarily counting the park factor with Coors.
Right.
Then you add in the fact that both pitchers are home run heavy guys. Kyle Freeland is an 8 ERA, and the Rockies hit better at home, especially against lefties. I could easily see that extra 2 runs coming across.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Source would still stay on the 11 and a half. Dot would also still stay on it, but just take it for half a unit instead.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, Source or Sam, let's go.
All right.
Second play.
We were just trashing on him, but I think it's a good spot for the Chicago Cubs today to come around. First of all, I understand that a lot of the juice on the Brewers is because Freddie Peralta is having an amazing year. I think once again, you got to, bring your aggression into it. Obviously, I'm not saying he's not a great pitcher. He could be a great pitcher, but great pitchers still have faults. Max Scherzer still gives up home runs, Garrett Cole still gave up 6 runs against the Red Sox in 4 innings. That stuff still happens. And especially when you're talking about a game that could be a pitcher's duel, Kyle Hendricks has never had a problem dueling against divisional opponents. And by the way, a trend this year that's been very interesting is divisional opponents on the road as dogs, which we have the Cubs here in that spot. Also, I just think coming off of those 3 losses against the Dodgers, who were getting in a hot zone, I don't necessarily think that's a fair depiction of how the Cubs have been playing this year, because they've been playing well above average. And they have guys who have stepped up like crazy. Patrick Wisdom, who knew who he was at the beginning of this season. So I think ultimately you're going to have a low-scoring game here. I like the Cubs to pull it out I don't even know if it's necessarily a bullpen game, because I think that Freddie Peralta and Kyle Hendricks could both go 7 innings each. And I could definitely see the Cubs outlasting the Brewers here in a battle where you need to be able to be the team that gets the runs in the crucial moments. And the Brewers have not shown themselves to be that team this year. I think the Cubs have.
The Brewers are the favorites here.
Yeah, I know. I think the Cubs really have some value at plus 130, plus 135 area, especially with A, their best pitcher on the mound, B, coming off of losses against the hottest team in the league in the last week, and C, going against a pitcher who I think is due for regression. Well, they have a guy on the mound who's been doing the same thing for years. It's more consistent, and I think it's more likely.
Yeah, the Brewers have won 5 in a row against the Rockies and the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
I've gone to Cleveland, which is, not the best team, but they're still adept, and then they've played the Dodgers for 4 games.
Yeah, and this is also a battle for the NL Central. They're a game apart. Just about 2.5, a game and a half, 2 games apart. This series is going to determine the NL Central leader right now. You got to believe the Cubs, if they want it, they're going to fight for it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I like all those points.
Yeah, that's actually, I like that play a ton. Might have to take it as a personal. All right, that was the show, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed it. If y'all have any questions or comments, feel free to go ahead and do that either now or just DM us on Twitter, or comment on Twitter. Once again, hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for the support. One thing I do want to mention before we log off entirely is that yesterday the Wager Rakes, at Wager Rakes, the Twitter page reached 100 followers. And so I just want to thank everybody who's supported us, followed us. That's just not me, but that's also the rest of the Wager Rakes team and every one of our individual followers. Just thank you for your unconditional, unwavering love and support. We do this for y'all. We create content, we go ahead and we do our work. A bunch of us have day jobs and we still find the time, to go through all the numbers and data and everything. And we simply do that for the love and support and the appreciation we get. So just to tie it in, thank you for your love and support, your constant love and support. And hope we're able to bring you profits today. That being said, good luck and have some fun today.